My name is Shauna Matney from Reimagine Your Normal. Today we are going to start a new series called Intuitive Eating for Beginners, and this is episode 1. So, what is intuitive eating? I know I've talked about this before. Basically, think back to when you were a baby. I don't think that's possible, but think of maybe your own baby or babies you've seen. So think back to babies that you're around. When they're hungry, they cry. When they are full, they stop eating. If they want to be comforted, they cry and they will suckle. These are all intuitive eating types of things. And it's not until we're older when our parents or society around us tells us we should be doing this or we should be doing that. The federal government even does that too, right? With what should be on your plate. But if you leave a kid alone to kind of figure out their own cues and help guide them, they do a lot better. So with that in mind, we are going to try to, if you are searching for intuitive eating for beginners, then you are on the right path. You are tired of dieting. You are done being told what to eat, even though that is easier. But in the long run, it doesn't work, right? We know diets don't work, but with a lack of an alternative, it makes it kind of hard. So let's see. So the thing about intuitive eating is it's not a meal plan. There isn't a set structure. I can't give you a meal plan. I can't say eat 1,600 calories a day or eat 2,200 calories a day or eat this many grams of protein or this many grams of fruits or whatever. Those are great guidelines if you are in a place where you don't know what those things are. 2 years ago, I didn't know what those things were. I didn't know what even was in protein or what had protein in it. I didn't know what had carbs in it. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I used the 21-day fix, the portion containers or the portion control containers to help me figure out and learn all that stuff. So I did follow the program as a guideline. And that's what I would suggest. If you are unsure of how to do it or where to go, I would suggest doing something like the 21-day fix, which is portion control containers, or you can do macros. If you look up what macros are or what 21-day fix is, the containers, either one of those will work. They will help guide you into what a healthy day looks like, so to speak, so that you can get like on a good track. It's a good jumping off point. But I strongly encourage you not to be strict on it. Don't be like, hey, I need to eat 3 portions of protein today. And maybe your body doesn't need the protein today. Maybe your body really, meow, my kitty. Maybe your body really needs a lot of vegetables today or something. Like follow your intuition. So how do you learn to do that? How do you learn to follow your intuition? The first thing is to realize that it's going to take time. It's a behavior change. There isn't a set schedule. There isn't a set agenda. Okay, so it takes time. It's a behavior change. And you are the only person that can make the decision. You are the only person who can really guide, really determine intuitively to be in tune with your body. People like me can help guide you. You can look on YouTube for nutritionists, other intuitive people to get an idea of the structure. You can look up, like I said, the macros or 21-day fixed portion control, those kinds of things. Okay, so some tips for intuitive eating for beginners, right? That's why you came to this YouTube video, to find some tips. So at the very beginning, you're gonna have to be more dramatic about it. So at the very beginning, you're gonna have to be more dramatic about it. So like remove all the distractions. So don't eat in front of the TV, don't eat in front of the computer, don't eat at your desk at work, that kind of stuff. Be very aware of what you're eating. If possible, sit at the dinner table so that you are very aware of what is happening, so you can start to learn to pay attention to what your body, the cues that you're giving you. Because everybody's cues of hunger and fullness are different. You'll want to start tuning into that so that you can learn. So another tip is to actually look at your plate. So while you're eating, look at what you're eating. Like, don't zone off and look at like the wall in the kitchen or something. That is the same as looking at the TV. Like, actually look at what you're eating and watch it be diminished as you're eating. Another tip is to slow down eating, which is easier said than done, right? Like for me, I sit down, I eat, I get it done, and I move on. But it is very important to sit down and slow down. So a way to help you slow down so you're not just like slowly eating, because that's really weird, is, for example, like cut a piece of food off, take a bite, put the fork down, sit back, chew the food. Be aware of it. Look at your plate. Be aware of, like, imagine thinking about the way the food tastes, the way it feels in your mouth. If you like it, if you want to make a game of it, you can do something like trying to figure out what spices are in it, especially if you weren't the one who cooked it. Or if you were the one who cooked it, maybe think about, okay, what other spices could I add? What is there maybe too much of? That kind of stuff. Just stuff to kind of get you in tune to what is happening with your food. Food is not just for fuel. It is for enjoyment. So why not take the time to multitask and figure out how to make it better, right? When you're done eating, it usually takes about 15 to 30 minutes for your body to register that your tummy is full. So sometimes there can be cues that your body will give you before you actually feel it in your stomach. So that's another reason why you want to eat slow. You want to try and give your brain a chance to catch up with your belly. But when you start to feel full, actually physically push your plate back. It can be like just a half an inch, just the physical act of pushing your plate back to signal to your brain, I'm done. So that you can sit back and you can wait for the others at the table to get done, or you can have conversations. And then if you're still hungry in like 10 minutes, you still have your plate of food. That is that is the other thing. I am absolutely in the Finish My Plate Club. I don't think I was ever told, hey, you have to finish everything on your plate, but I definitely feel that way. I feel like whatever food I take, it's rude not to finish every single bite on the plate. So I finish eating it even if I'm not full. So to help me get around that is, it didn't matter how hungry I was, I would leave one bite left at the end of the meal. Like there was one bite left, just to kind of break that habit of cleaning off my plate. And once I did that, it was much easier to leave the food. Another thing to remember is that you don't have to eat all the food all at once. You can go back to it. So let's say you're having spaghetti with a garlic bread and some vegetables. And you're eating the spaghetti and the vegetables and you're just not hungry enough for the garlic bread. So you can put it to the side and maybe, later in the afternoon, let's say you had that for lunch, later in the afternoon you want a snack, you can have the bread then. Like it doesn't have to all be eaten right then. So those are, that is the introduction to intuitive eating for beginners. It is a way to get started right away. This series of YouTube videos is actually going to be 10 episodes. Actually, it's 11 episodes because I'm going to be following the, I'll post it in the bottom notes, but it is intuitive eating by 2 dietitians, and they have 10 principles for intuitive eating. And so this is the introduction video, and over the next 10 days I'll go through the 10 principles and talk about those a little bit so that you can get a good start on your intuitive eating so that you have no more diets, so you can stop dieting for good. So if you like these videos and if you want to see the next 10 videos over the next 10 days for the intuitive eating, 10 principles, then go ahead and subscribe. Like it if you like the video, post any comments, any questions that you have. I am not a nutritionist, I'm not an expert, but I am someone who's very passionate about stopping dieting and helping people to stop dieting. I see so many women around me who are in this like vicious dieting cycle and they don't know how to get out. They want to get out, but they don't know how to get out. So I'm hoping to reach them and anybody else who's in that same boat to get out of the dieting cycle. It's a horrible cycle. And there is an alternative. It is the biological, natural way. It is not a fad. It is truly a lifestyle switch back to the way it should be. So until next time, thank you.